My name is Princess Aaliyah. I was born into the 8th house of Journey, to Queen Isara and Lord Tariq. The story you're about to hear comes from the sealed book of the Journeys, sacred writings of every ruler since the time's first dawn. Now I share this chronicle with you, for this is my story as the future leader of the Egyptians.
Everything happened at once. The lights above them flickered, then stuttered into blackness. The red glow of emergency beacons flashed like blood against the walls as the floor shook beneath their boots. A second explosion, smaller but closer, rocked the corridor behind them. The blast wave rippled through the structure. Loose piping clattered to the floor. Fire control gas hissed through sealed vents, clouding their vision with sterile fog.
Secondary blast, deck 2. That wasn't structural failure. That was placed.
Go! They're trying to seal us in.
Raven vessel, prepare for emergency launch. Stand by to override all systems. We are coming in hot.
The air was growing thinner. Not dangerously, not yet, but enough to make their breaths come faster, sharper. Each hallway seemed longer than the last. Every corner a blind risk. Every light flicker a reminder that someone, something, still had control. They reached the final corridor leading to the hangar bay, boots sliding slightly on slick plating torn from the ceiling. Rosette clutched her tablet against her chest, her breathing uneven. Aaliyah slammed her fist into the panel.
Docking controls not responding. Manual override only. I'll reroute from the inner conduit.
No time. Cut the sequence. Blow the clamps.
That's going to throw the ship hard off the rail.
Do it.
Override in progress. 3, 2, 1.
The ship jerked away from the station like a predator tearing loose from a snare. The sudden pressure change flung them sideways into the docking vestibule wall. Rosette cried out as her shoulder hit the support beam. Katesh steadied her mid-fall, pulling her toward the hatch.
We're not dying here. Move!
The ramp hissed closed behind them. Outside, the starfield shifted as their ship spun briefly in free drift before engines roared to life. The entire frame shuddered as they tore away from the collapsing platform.
We're out! Trajectory holding. Hull integrity, 81%. We just tore through a side vent.
Get us 10 clicks out. Engage drift mode. Shut down all active signals. We go silent.
That wasn't just sabotage. That was staged. They wanted us to see the damage and walk away alive.
Why? Why let us go?
Because they're not finished yet.
The air inside the ship felt too cold, too clean. It was a shock to the system after the chaos of Hetzekem, as if they'd passed from one reality into another. Everything aboard the Raven transport hummed with controlled order. The chairs were bolted. The oxygen was balanced. The lights were steady. But the 3 women inside were not. They stood in silence around the mission table, the holograph display still dark between them. Helmets off, hair damp with sweat, armor scuffed and dented from the escape. Their silence wasn't a strategy meeting. It was a collective breath before memory returned.
I accessed the last recorded maintenance logs from the station before everything went dark. The cloning lab hasn't been touched for 6 cycles. No lab tech signatures, no AI logs, but 3 containment pods were opened from the inside.
They waited. For what? For us?
No, for timing. The attacks were precise. They hit the comms first, then power routing, then the outer berth. They knew how to disable systems in sequence.
Aaliyah's voice was controlled, but her thoughts ran faster than her words. It wasn't just that the clones had moved like soldiers. It was that they'd moved like a unit, synced not just in motion, but in intent. She'd seen battlefield efficiency before, but this was different.
That wasn't instinct. That was design.
The genetic mapping confirmed it. All 3 clones were based on the same strand, same structural markers, identical cognitive accelerants. They weren't grown separately. They were copies of a single profile.
So Nazari didn't just build a clone. He copied her, replicated her.
Which raises the question, how many more times can she be copied?
Resette's voice trailed off, and for a moment no one responded. They were agents, assassins, commanders, codebreakers, but now they were facing something that blurred every line. Not an army, not an insurgency, an intelligence.
Ship movement. Something detached from Hetzikem just after we did.
Another clone?
No. Small vessel. No signature. No beacon. It piggybacked on station power. Cloaked during the blast.
Is it jumping?
Right now.
The stars shimmered as the unidentified vessel slipped into light speed and vanished from sensors. Just like that, a ghost with no name was gone, leaving no trail behind.
Someone else was watching.
Or helping?
Aaliyah stepped away from the console, her shadow stretching along the cabin wall. She didn't look at the others, but she felt them. The tension in Resette's posture, the restless energy in Katesh's hands. This wasn't a mission anymore. It was a race, and they had just started a lap behind.
They let us leave. They let us see them. And now someone's covering their trail. That means they're not running. They're planning.
The final word hung in the air like a weight none of them could put down. Not yet. Not until the next move. Far above the echoing courts of advisors and orchestrated optics, Queen Asara walks alone into her private chamber of discretion, where no voices are recorded and no history is written without her consent. Here, decisions are not debated. They are controlled. She activates the secure uplink, a sovereign line not even the High Council is authorized to monitor.
Mother, we've confirmed it. 3 clone capsules, all active. One attacked us aboard Hetzikem, spoke clearly, let us live intentionally, and left a warning. I am one of soon-to-be many.
Isara's gaze narrows, not out of disbelief, but calculation. She has always understood power is not measured by the size of an army, but by the ability to decide what the people never learn.
Do you realize what happens if this goes beyond us? If the court discovers the male line is collapsing? If the public learns the Empire's greatest geneticist built an unsanctioned weapon in their name? There will be panic. There will be political fracture. There may be calls for abdication.
Then stop it now. Let us pursue the ship. Let us contain this before it becomes a scandal that consumes the house.
Containment has a cost. You're not asking for a strike force. You're asking for black authorization. You're asking for Raven.
Yes, because this is no longer about recovering assets. It's about denying others the chance to use them. This isn't a threat to peace. It's a threat to order.
And if this spreads, it won't just be bloodlines unraveling. It'll be trust in the court, in the Empire, in your throne.
Let us clean this quietly. Let us make it disappear, like it never happened.
Queen Asara stands still, not in indecision, but preservation. She is not just weighing risk, she is weighing history itself. If Raven is activated, it can never be acknowledged. It can never be honored, but it can be necessary.
By the sovereign authority of the 8th House, I invoke Raven. Not as an act of war, but of survival. This is a containment mandate. Unseen, untraceable, unacknowledged. You're not a princess. You're not soldiers. You are the shadow the Empire sends when it must erase its own reflection. Should you succeed, you will be forgotten. Should you fall, the blame will fall where it belongs. Nowhere.
Then let the shadow begin.
Remember, my daughter, you're not just tracking enemies. You're confronting what we try to erase: our failure, our arrogance, and the echoes of science that never asked permission. One mistake is forgivable. A second becomes policy. End this before history ends us.
And with no record kept, no names written, the Empire's quiet purge begins.
This has been a Frederick Copeland media presentation, a Cineplex Studios family of companies. Written by Fred Copeland.